the street, asking people questions. PLO leader Yasser Arafat.
Fat.
There's no game more fun than tic-tac-toe. A nail in a tire sounds like... Some of those Ernest movies are pretty...
Inane.
A bad employee always has his fingers in the...
Till.
Free-toe?
Lay.
A dog would look like a hog if it wasn't for the...
Fur.
Shag and pile are very nice types of carpet...
Ings.
A, B, C...
D.
Aren't you Charlie Chong?
Da.
So to summarize what he just told us...
Inane, toe, fur, till, da, fat, lay, d, ings.
Hey, Charlie, look.
Thank you. Got a very nice crowd here, except for, yeah, boy. Now, I'll tell you, this just reinforces what I've been saying all week. This has been a strange week. We got strange people here. I just want you to think about this. The weather, beautiful. It's gorgeous. In fact, to the people in this part of the country, El Nino, not exactly a tragedy. Everywhere else, it's damn the weather. And up here, viva El Nino, yes. Absolutely. I'll tell you something. The whole global warming thing, not looking that bad either. It's not So anyway, with such beautiful weather, you'd think it'd be a nice, mellow week, but let's just take a quick review of the news. A Russian missile disintegrated above the city last night. Randy Johnson's being traded. A guy got shot over a turn signal being left on. And they found a bong at the Hanford Nuclear Reservation. Quite a week. Now, let's just look at Tuesday's headline, okay? Turn signal left on led to shooting. Now, I'll tell you, if this keeps up, Ballard is going to look like a Sam Peckinpah movie. Lots of turn signals over there, and being Ballard, the gunfire would all be in slow motion. All right, well, anyway, thank you. What actually happened was that in West Seattle, a car's turn signal was left on for 6 blocks. The guy driving behind that car got so angry, he took a baseball bat and busted out the rear window and was then shot in the butt. And the cops arrived and said, "You shot him in the butt. He was running away. You can't do that." And the guy said, "No, he was coming at me with his butt." It's very disturbing. But speaking of disturbing, they found a bong at the Hanford Nuclear Reservation. Now, people find bongs everywhere. Believe me, I know. It's like, some athlete, some politicians caught with a bong, and people go, ooh, but they really don't care. But when you find a bong in the high security area of the largest nuclear complex in the nation, that's a whole different thing. It's like, whoa. The red light is flashing, and oh, now they're all flashing, man. Crank up Hendrix. Oh. We have a little video demonstration here. This is Hanford. This is Hanford on drugs. Any questions? Yeah. Of course, the great thing about the Tri-Cities area, if they did have a nuclear disaster, really wouldn't change the look of the place all that much. Well, the Mariners are going to let Randy Johnson go. Yeah, they announced yesterday. Yeah, I know. They announced yesterday that they're going to replace Randy with a Tully's coffee, which seems to work for everything else in town. And it follows on their previous success when they replaced Norm Charlton with Folgers Crystals. And fans couldn't tell the difference. So anyway, it's been the kind of week that local TV news departments just live for. They can just smell those local Emmys. It's an interesting event, by the way, the local Emmys. If you've never been there, we've got a videotape to show you what they're like.
Should I fluff it up here? Should I comb it down there? Oh, and what about my part?
Come on, Dan, hurry up.
Yeah, hurry up. The Emmys start in 5 minutes.
Dan, other people are waiting.
Oh man, what am I gonna do? Help! Help!
Looking good.
Oh, hon, I forgot your cufflinks downstairs.
All right, but be quick about it. We gotta be at the Sheraton in 5 minutes.
I'll hurry.
All right. Hey, while you're down there, give me another bag of those unsalted pork rinds, will you?
Sure, hon, but don't spoil your dinner. You know how much you like that vegetarian entree.
That's right, I do.
This sounds like a job for... Capable woman!
It's time for the adventures of Capable Woman, the new superhero who isn't new exactly. It's just she's finally broken through the male-dominated superhero power structure and is just now getting the recognition that is so rightly hers. Capable Woman!
Who the heck are you?
Whenever a man is in trouble and his male ego is threatened by his own incompetence, I'm here to help.
But I really don't.
We don't have much time. Quick, hand me that moose.
Thanks, capable woman. My male ego is still intact, and nobody needs to know I couldn't do it myself.
What's taking you so long, Louis?
Yeah, what's your problem?
Man, you'd think that... Capable Woman!
You know her? Well, I just heard of her.
She's a friend of a friend of a friend.
Bernie Clark, did you understand my notes on how to write the new Riverdance grant proposal? Steve Raible, have you tried using Windex on the teleprompter like I suggested? And Jim Compton, are you finally clear on the historical implications of the Attorney General being under the executive rather than the judicial branch? Now remember, Dan, back comb first, then spray.
Got it.
Capable Woman!
Wonder Woman may have big tits, but she doesn't know jack about Dan Lewis's hair.
All right, stay with us. We've got a great show, and we're coming right back.
The following is a message from your local phone company.
Hi, I'm Dan Novak. As you know, 6 months ago, we divided the old 206 area code into the 206, 253, and 425 area codes. Well, in just a few moments, at midnight tonight, in fact, our grace period ends and it will be mandatory to use the new codes when dialing. But the good news is that it's actually very simple. When calling another area, just dial that code before the number. If it wasn't long distance before, it won't be now. So there's no need to dial a 1 first. It's as easy as that. Now let's see if our studio audience has any questions. Yes?
Yeah, do you have to dial a 1 first when calling the 425 area code?
Good question. I should have made that more clear. The answer is, if you didn't have to dial a 1 before, you don't have to now. Yes?
Oh, he asked the same question I was going to ask.
Oh, good. Good. Then I guess we already cleared that up for you.
Yeah, so I should dial a 1 then?
Did you have to dial a 1 before?
No, I've never called there before.
I see.
I don't have a phone.
Uh-huh. You know, I'm kicking myself right now because in explaining the new codes, I forgot to mention that this only applies to people who actually have telephones. Yes, your question.
Did I hear you right? All of a sudden we have to dial a 1 before every call?
You know, I may have made this sound a lot harder than it is. Remember, use the new area codes, and if it was long distance before, then you dial a 1 right here. And if not, then don't dial that number right there, okay? Yes, sir.
Yes, if you're in the old 206 area and you call Enumclaw in the 360 area code, do you have to dial 253 and 254 before dialing 356? Since they're in the way now?
Actually, you got some of those numbers wrong, but it doesn't matter because thanks to the new technology, the caller will actually leap right over those area codes.
Great. So do you have to dial a 1 first?
Did you dial a 1 before?
Before what?
You know, you look like a guy with a lot of time on his hands.
That's right.
Why don't you just go right ahead and dial a 1 anyway, you know, just in case.
Good idea. Thanks.
You bet. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, do you know where the bathroom is?
Yeah, it's right outside the door.
Great, thanks. Oh, do I have to dial a 1 first before I use it?
Yeah, why don't you try that?
Okay,
Yeah.
great, thanks.
Yeah. Next question, please.
Yeah, isn't this just a huge scam to make money off long-distance calls?
As I believe I have made very clear, long distance won't change.
Oh, that's bull. Who do I call to complain about this?
Just call 1-800-GOTOHELL.
All right. Don't think I won't. Hey, wait a minute. Is there one before that? Is that long distance?
Not if you're calling from your new 666 area code. I think we've answered enough questions about dialing 1 first, so are there any other questions? Yes.
Yes, I see an error on your chart. I live on the east side, and you've mistakenly included Renton with us in the 425 area code.
No, that is correct. Renton is 425.
Oh, no. Shouldn't Renton be, down there in 253 with Kent, Auburn, and Tacoma?
No, it is 425.
Do you know what this is going to do to our property values? If you think that you're getting away with this, then you really don't have a finger on the pulse of our community.
Yeah, maybe not, lady, but there is a certain finger that I would like to show you right about now. Yeah.
Yeah, I have one more question about when to dial 1.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm in the 253 area code.
Yeah.
And I call someone in the 425 area code.
Right.
Do I
have to dial a 1 first?
Well, yeah.
Look, why don't you come on up here? Let me show you. Come on up here. Come on. Have you seen one of these before?
Yeah.
Have you? Now, was it a long distance number?
No.
Okay, then you don't have to touch that. Now, what was that area code again?
It's 253.
Okay, 253. What's the rest of the number?
555.
555.
68. 92.
92. All right, we're out of time. Good night, everybody.
Presenting another in the KCTS 9 Current series, wood artist Robert Hughes, also known as the Whittler.
Yeah, they call me the Whittler. I don't know why. Maybe because I like to whittle.
Despite having no formal training, Hughes is known as one of the Northwest's greatest whittlers. The only criticism of his work is that every piece comes out looking like a pointy stick.
See, this one here is a duck.
The Seattle Weekly says, "We don't like Hughes' work, but if it becomes popular, then we do." The Stranger commented, "Robert Hughes makes Leonardo da Vinci look like Leonardo DiCaprio." The Seattle PI says, Why do we only get that one little lame section in the Sunday paper, and most of that's taken up with the crossword puzzle?
This one here, I call the milking cow.
Hughes is a genius. He is the Dale Chihuly of wood, except for without the patch, at least not one over his eye. Sometimes I wish that he would do something other than a pointy stick. But then I see something like the milking cow, and it is so real that I can see the milk spurting out of the udder.
And this one here, I call the gentle grizzly bear.
I had told Dad that if I ever saw him whittling another one of those pointy sticks again, that I would personally come down, hack it to pieces, and burn it. Well, I showed up, and there he was, whittling again, pointy stick. So I started wrestling with him to make him stop. Anyway, he stabbed me, but I'm pretty sure it was just an accident.
Now this one is my favorite. I call it Son with Knife in Him.
Robert Hughes has selected some of his finest whittling to put on display at the Seattle Art Museum. You can see them as part of the museum's new Things That Can Prick You exhibit through the end of the month.
Good evening. This is the Late Report. Well, the Seattle Mariners announced this week that they won't offer Randy Johnson a contract extension. Although upset at first, Johnson decided that when you have hair like his, you don't really need extensions. A former student of Seattle's Cornish College was caught recently drawing on some Yoko Ono paintings in an art gallery. When Yoko heard of her ruined artwork, she let out a long scream, which fortunately was recorded and will be released as her next album. Microsoft this week was fighting federal government accusations that they're a monopoly that bullies other companies, saying there's nothing illegal about having an extremely successful product. The company then introduced its newest product, Windows Crack Cocaine 97. An Oregon group is proposing an elevated mile-long hiking trail that's suspended up to 200 feet high among the trees in the forest canopy. The group calls itself Citizens for More Tragic Falling Deaths. Well, Boeing chairman Phil Condit says the company now has the know-how to build a hydrogen-powered airplane. Industry insiders are optimistic, saying that hydrogen hasn't been used in air transportation since it got a bad rap back in 1937. Well, a new tugboat sank this week after crashing into one of the walls at the Ballard Locks. The crash is believed to have happened when the captain forgot to shut off his turn signal and another boat began smashing the tug with a baseball bat. A Fremont man is trying to get a bank to install a cash machine on the backside of the famous Lenin statue. If the plan goes through, it would be the realization of the communist leader's worst fear, that one day he'd have capitalism coming out his ass. Tomorrow's town meeting will focus on former child stars from shows like The Brady Bunch, The Waltons, and The Courtship of Eddie's Father. Host Ken Schramm will also talk about his childhood role as Eddie Munster. Finally, scientists repackaging the bones of Kennewick Man found one that apparently belonged to someone else. Subsequently, the scientists have changed the name of Kennewick Man to Bone Stealing Man. This has been the Late Report. Thank you, and we'll be right back. Well, that's just about all the time that we have here on this week's Almost Live.